Hello and welcome to the channel. This is another Unity tutorial series. Normally I do tutorials using the Playmaker Visual Scripting tool, but my plan now is to actually go back and start over with ReadyPlayerMe, but this time I'm going to do it using C# because I've had a lot of people reaching out to me asking if I could do the same tutorials but with C#. We're going to go even more in depth now with the latest that ReadyPlayerMe has to offer. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to ReadyPlayer.me, and we're going to click where it says, are you a developer? And then you can sign up as a developer, but I'm going to jump right into Read Docs. Now, ReadyPlayerMe supports all sorts of platforms and the two biggest game engines. We are going to use Unity, so we're going to come down here to the Unity SDK. And I believe it's available in the Unity Asset Store, but regardless, it's never going to be as up-to-date as ReadyPlayerMe's Git. So what we're going to do is we're going to download it from the Git. So we're going to go to the download page, and we're going to download the latest version of the Unity SDK. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not in their Git. They put it in Google Drive. I forgot about that. All right, and so then I'm just going to right-click on this, and I'm going to download. And let's see if it's the same version I already have downloaded. All right, I'm just going to put it in my downloads folder, hit save, and nope, it must be a new version. Otherwise, it would ask me to override it. All right, and so then I just started a new Unity project. I'm using 2021 3.15 F1. Really, any version, you're probably not going to have any issues. I've used all sorts of versions with ReadyPlayerMe. But if you're starting a new project, it's always great to get the latest and greatest long-term support. 2021, I don't think that's what this is, but this is the latest version of 2021 that I have. So now I'm going to go up to Assets, and I'm going to Import Package, Custom Package, go to Downloads, and there's ReadyPlayerMe, and we're going to let that install. All right, there's everything that we need, and we're going to import. You could potentially get an error with GLTF utility and or Newtonsoft if it's already in your project. So if you already have Newtonsoft in your project, you're just going to end up deleting this. If you know it's already there, you can just uncheck this and not import it. If you're using a different type of GLTF utility, then you're going to have to figure out some other solution. Somebody smarter than me on one of my teams wrote a special loader to where a different GLTF utility was acting as a loader, wouldn't conflict with this, but I'm not that smart. So if you have conflicts, reach out to somebody smarter than me. But let's go ahead and import this. I'm just going to uncheck and check everything again because I want everything. This is a blank project, and we're going to import it into the project. And there we go, even in a blank project, we already have this pre-compiled assembly error with Newtonsoft JSON. So what we can do is we can go into Plugins, ReadyPlayerMe, and find its Newtonsoft. Is it in here? Newtonsoft. So there it is in the Plugins folder. That was the one that was installed by ReadyPlayerMe, probably. This one... They're both in the same folder. So we have Newtonsoft JSON DSL in the runtime folder, and then we have AOT Newtonsoft JSON. I'm just going to delete the AOT one, and let's see where that leaves us. I don't remember having to do this before, but let's do that. Let's clear. And we're still having the same issue here. Oh, we're just going to delete the folder altogether because Unity already has it installed. So I'm just going to come back, and I'm just going to delete that entire Newtonsoft folder. Delete that. And now our console errors should be gone. All right, so if we look at the console, there's no errors. There are some warnings, but I'm not too worried about that. Just clear those out. All right, so the next thing you'd want to do is go up here to the ReadyPlayerMe menu and go to Settings. So if you haven't signed up yet on the website, right, over here it asks if you're a developer. You can click on it, and then you can sign up as a developer. And when you do this, I don't know if you actually get approved automatically, because I don't think I've ever actually done this. But if you do get approved, maybe I have, you get your own domain, right? And then once you get your domain from them, you're going to put it right here instead of demo. But starting out now using demo, it's fine. The next thing we have is the avatar settings, avatar config. So if we just click on this, let's highlight our project folder. You can see that we have 3 presets that were already made and came with the project. So these are scriptable objects. We can create our own presets if we wanted to by right-clicking, go to Create, Scriptable Objects, ReadyPlayerMe, and then we can set up our own avatar loader settings. And nope, that's not what we want. We want avatar configuration. So we could go to Create, scriptable objects, ReadyPlayerMe, avatar configuration, and then we can create our own. But really, it's probably just, you're probably just good enough just keeping the 3 presets that are already here and just change them how you want. All right, so they all look the same. They just have different settings for high, medium, and low. So the big things you want to look at is pose. Do you want an A pose, which means that the arms are slightly angled down, or do you want T pose where, you know, it's cross pose, or their arms just straight out? Traditional, like things like Mixamo and stuff, I believe are all based on T pose. So if you're gonna be getting your animations from elsewhere, you might want to do T pose. It's probably not gonna matter too much when we actually get to the animation point. But just for fun, let's set these all to T pose anyways. And then the use hands checkbox, I believe it's only for half body avatars, because I can't imagine full body avatars will let you remove the hands. That would be pretty crazy. But I mostly work with VR, so I'm actually in the project I'm on now, I'm actually not using the hand, so I'm unchecking the use hand box whenever I'm doing VR. The next thing is morph targets. If you don't add any morph targets, it's going to load all of them in. Let's actually take a look at what this would look like. If we go to the avatar loader, we have a URL already in there. I'm not sure if it's got that from my preferences somewhere in my computer or if it's there automatically. But if we want to use the eye animations, which is the new system, I didn't find the eye animations worked very well. I ended up writing my own script for that. They also have a use voiced animation. These are supposed to add 2 different scripts that kind of just make the eyes move and then the lips move automatically. We'll go ahead and check those and see how it looks like if we load them in. All right, so the avatar I'm using is a full body avatar. If it was half body, I think it says like avatars half body or something like that. So where do you get these URLs? Well, from ReadyPlayerMe. So if we go back to ReadyPlayerMe, and if I enter the hub, and if I wanted to create a new avatar, so I have a VR section because I started creating some half body ones, and we have a full body section. So the first time you create an avatar, it's going to ask you if it's for VR or full body, but you can always go back and create a different one. But also, I think if we go to create new, now I could have sworn the URL used to actually change to like VR or half body or something up here, but I think they've updated some stuff. But we're going to start with full body since I think that's what most people are going to be utilizing. So we're going to be continuing with full body. And so let's just go ahead and before we load this into the scene, let's actually look what our settings are. And as you can see, we're using the high setting right now, which we're doing T-pose, high texture atlas, and we're getting all the morph targets, and then the texture size is maxed all the way out. Avatar caching, what that does is it saves the avatar on your machine. It looks like it's off by default. I think in the past it was actually on by default. So let's just go ahead and how it's set. Let's go ahead and load in an avatar. And so what this does is this gives you an avatar that you can work with right now. And look, it is a half body one. And so it totally pulled it from my system somewhere. So let's, that URL looked like it was a half body URL. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna delete that. And let's find my avatars folder. Come in here and we're gonna delete, go back. Where's avatars folder, and we'll delete this. So as you can see, I'm not quite sure what I don't quite understand what the caching means, because even with it turned off, it's still storing it in my project. But I guess that's kind of the whole point anyways. Because if you're going to be loading it from this menu, then you're going to be using it in your project. If you're doing a multiplayer experience or you don't want to let people create their own, you're not going to be loading from in the editor. You're going to use scripts, and we'll do that in a later episode. All right, so let's go back to the avatar loader, and let's get a full body guy. Yeah, let me get this one, copy the glib URL, and then go back over here, and let's put this in. I could have sworn you could see in the URL what type of what if it was VR or not. But all right, let's load this one into the scene. And it's downloading. We're getting some feedback there, and there we go. So let's go ahead and reset the transform. We'll double click, And there you go. I have my full body avatar, and he is completely T-posed. So let's take a look at what all came on him. So he's already got an animator. He doesn't have an animator controller, but there is one that usually comes, like there's animations that it gives you, but not a lot. And it has an animator controller, but you're probably not going to use it. Let's just go ahead and hit play for a minute, and we'll see how well the eye animation handler works and the voice handler works. So let's come in here and take a look. All right, and so let's zoom in on the eyes, because see the eye animation handler, okay, it is working. All right, because in my other project I'm working on it, it's not really working. There you go, the eyes just kind of move randomly, and so that's cool. But the microphone is not currently moving, but it does have an audio source. And it's using the microphone. Oh, it's muted. So if I unmute it, is it working now? No, it doesn't seem to be working, but that could be because I'm using it with OBS right now. All right, so if you look now, you can see the mouth is moving a little bit. So the issue was my computer system was actually trying to use my VR headset as my microphone. But now it's using my snowball mic that I'm also using in OBS. So the voice handler script doesn't do too bad of a job. And so how does this actually make the mouth move? So if we go look at our avatar and we expand this a little bit, and we look at our renderer avatar, we can see our skinned mesh renderer, and it's got just those two blend shapes. This is so weird. This is an entirely new project, but it seems to be remembering all of my settings. It's so weird, because normally you would see a ton of blend shapes here. So if we go back up here and we go to settings and we double click on this configuration, that's so weird. It doesn't have any morph targets, but it's showing them all. That is really weird. If I come in here and like if I choose Oculus Visemes, and I hit play, the idea is when we go to this renderer avatar and we expand the blend shapes, we should see them here. But it's really weird that it's only seeing my mouth open and mouth smile. Wonder why that is. It's totally pulling my settings from a different project. I have no idea why it's doing that. It's just so weird to me. What if I just create a new one? And let's just delete all these. And I'm just going to right click, create scriptable object, ReadyPlayerMe avatar configuration. And let's go ahead and let's do low, and you can just see how low works. It's still pretty good, but the textures are just a little lower quality. Texture Atlas, we won't do one. And let's do it without adding the morph targets. And what is actually going to happen is it checks for this ID. And if this ID already exists in our project, it just loads it from the project. So that's why you'll see it should load a little bit faster, except that it should be using my settings. All right, I don't know if you can kind of tell. Just to be fair, just to be safe, let's just completely delete it. So it's got to completely reload the avatar. All right, and let's just load avatar into current scene. I hit play. I wasn't going to load the avatar. Ridiculous. All right, so here you can see just a little bit lower quality, but still very usable, especially if you're going to be like third-person perspective. There we go. It's a pose now, but what if we go look at the... Yeah, here we go. Everything's a little bit different now. Now it's you... It's so weird. Where's our actual Visemes at? Here we go. So the eye has its own. There we go. Now we have all the separate body parts with their own Visemes on them, but it looks like just the eyes. What about our head? Yeah, our head's got a mouth open, mouth smile, render teeth. So I wonder if they changed the defaults, because I just downloaded this newest SDK. I haven't used it in my other project, but it must be brand new. Let's see how new it is. Well, no, it's from December 20th, so I don't know why it's reacting so differently, because normally there'd be a gazillion blend shapes in here. What if we delete that and we go back to our avatar configuration? Whoops, avatar configuration. And let's go ahead and do high. We're on T-pose. Sure, why not give me a texture atlas? We are going to use the hands. Because traditionally, the last time I did this, every single one of these Visemes were preloaded. And I personally changed it to just mouth open and mouth close. That's so weird. So ReadyPlayerMe, avatar loader, load into the current scene. And now what happens? Here we have everything broke apart again. And just the mouth open, mouth smile Visemes. Well, comment down below what different interactions that you had, because it's totally not loading in a way that I would have expected. Oh, I'm also might be thinking about the half body avatars too, but still, there should have been a lot more Visemes. And I don't know if they just cut it back or what. But anywho's, you can play with that on your own. Why is my pose not a T-pose though? You're seeing that, right? I have it set. Oh, you know what my problem is? It does not have an avatar configuration. Ah, there you go. I make these mistakes so you can learn from them. Make sure you actually have an avatar configuration in there, or it's going to do whatever it wants. Now what happens if we load? I wonder if it'll be more noticeable now that I was using an LOD. All right. So open this. Now we just have the single renderer avatar. And no Visemes. Okay, now it's doing what we would expect. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to delete that. So now if we go to our avatar configuration, now we can add whatever Visemes that we want. And if I choose, if I remove this, now let's see if it loads all of them. Because maybe you want all of them. Why did I hit play? Keep wanting to hit play for it to happen. But I can just hit this button here, load avatar into the current scene. There we are. Now if we expand this, we have our renderer avatar. I'm so confused. And it's got mouth open, mouth smile. All right, well, that's not my normal settings. Maybe I used the smile for something? I don't know. But anywho's, that if you want more Visemes, just come in here and add morph targets and choose what you want. But yeah, so I think this is probably a good stopping point on just showing you how to get started. If you wanted to create animations for this guy, you can just simply go to Mixamo. So Mixamo.com, create an account. All right, then once you're logged into your account, you can upload a character. And let's just select our character file, and let's go to, I should have ReadyPlayerMe. Yeah, there we go. Go to Assets, Avatars, come into this folder. Then we have 3D objects. That must be it. And let's see what it does. Processing character. So it was unable to map our existing skeleton. When in doubt, go to the documentation. So loading Mixamo Animations is just as simple as just finding one that you want. So just use the avatar you want there. And then, I don't know, let's get, find some sort of dance. And then, let's get this guy. All right, and we're going to download this guy. And I'm pretty sure I know what the settings are, but we'll just double check. And FBX for Unity with skin, leave it 30 frames per second. Okay, so FBX for Unity with skin, 30 frames per second. And it wants us to put it in the resources animations folder. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm in my ReadyPlayerMe resources animations folder. I'm gonna go ahead and just save that there. And then we come in here. I don't think we have an animator controller, but we can look. Doesn't allow us to filter by that. Animation, yeah, avatar animator right there. All right, it's in ReadyPlayerMe resources. So if we come here and we add avatar animator, okay, and then if we go to our animations, we make sure Remy is set up for humanoid, I imagine. So rig, it already is, great. And so let's click back on our avatar, double click on our animator. And right now it's transitioning between talking and walking. And let's just delete that, and then let's just go into talking, and let's do our wave hip hop dance. And just like that, we should have a new animation on our ReadyPlayerMe avatar. There he goes, getting his groove on. Yeah, and it looks pretty decent right out of the box. So there you go. All right, so next time, well, I'm not sure what we're going to do. Maybe we're going to work on, I don't know, movement. we're going to do some scripting of some kind. So come next episode, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and comment down below if there's anything specific you're looking for. See you later.